Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Phil George from Bamboo, and today we're talking about a platform that we're building to make it easy, safe, and fast for people to get involved in cryptocurrency. So, if most of you heard the panel before, you probably thought this is a pretty exciting thing that's happening with the blockchain ecosystem growing. Most of you have probably heard about cryptocurrencies as a rising asset class, but we at Bamboo think that there's still a pretty important problem about this supposedly decentralized and democratized technology, which is it's actually pretty hard to get involved in. So before we get started, just a few reminders with cryptocurrencies. Even though that we're hearing a lot about it in the news, it's important to remember that with cryptocurrencies, we're still really just at the beginning of this asset class rising. At the moment, it represents approximately 0.29% of the global monetary supply when we talk about M2 money. So even though we're seeing lots of articles and news about these absurd amounts of monies being raised and the values being in the hundreds of billions, it's still very, very small and very, very early on in the piece for this asset class and this technology. To put it in perspective, it's less than half the value of a single company, being Apple, in terms of market cap. It was interesting, I was up here last year hearing Pindar speak, and I think he used the analogy of comparing where we're at with blockchain technologies to where we're at with the internet in sort of the mid-1990s. So I sort of stole that and integrated it into my deck and said that it's the inflection point, similar to the early days of the internet. So it's important to remember that because when we think about the internet when it first started, it was actually quite archaic. It was difficult to get involved with. You had to use a dial-up modem and wait 45 seconds for the modem to connect you before you could do anything. Whereas now we just pull out our phone and we've got the internet. So what is the problem? We've got this exciting asset class that everyone wants to get involved in, except turns out it's actually really, really hard to get involved in it. If you're not a technologist, if you're not someone who lives and breathes technology, actually purchasing cryptocurrencies and getting involved isn't that easy. Less than 0.5% of the world's population has interacted with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies in any way. And we think that in order to get the other 99.5% of the world involved, it needs to be simple. It needs to be made simple. So to do that, it's a touch tough. So we've started assembling a team of people that we think can help us. To give you a quick rundown, but not jump into too much detail, we've got Linus, who was head of the design team at Typeform, who somehow made filling out forms on the internet into something that's easy and exciting, which is, we think, quite an accomplishment when we're talking about making things simple. We've got Will Griffiths, who's the head of our product, building our product out, who's had 5 top 10 apps on the App Store in the last 8 years. We've got Peter, who's ex-Chevron and is basically completely the most risk-compliant guy who's ever lived, which is helpful when we're dealing with fintech platforms. Myself, I've got a background with Uber, and I actually am a non-executive director of D13 and Whitehawk, who are both here today. So go say hi to them. Have to say that. And yeah, we've built an awesome team who we think can make these technologies easier to access. So what are the problems? I don't know if you guys have ever... How many people have actually tried to purchase cryptocurrencies? Just put up your hand. Pindar has. Cool. So a few people. Those of you that have tried it have probably found that it's not as straightforward as maybe we think it would be. You've got to actually figure out what it is, where you can purchase these assets. Then you've got to provide proof that you are who you claim to be with a form of a passport or an ID. And then you've got to wait sometimes weeks to be verified and for the third party to verify that you are who you claim to be. And then you've got to transfer money onto a platform that can take days. And then once you've been verified, once you've confirmed that you actually are who you say you are, you've got to figure out what it is that you're actually wanting to purchase and what these things are, what they represent. And most people have no idea of how to do that. And the technical barrier to do so is so great that even people who have intended to buy cryptocurrencies just turn away. It's too complex, it's too hard. So we think the solution should be integrating the purchase of these rising asset classes when we talk about cryptocurrencies and the technologies that will define our future into something that people are already doing, making it simple. So what we've built is an application that allows people to get involved in the cryptocurrency asset class and get exposure to the blockchain technologies that will define the future in under 60 seconds. And this is what it looks like. You download the app, you register your account, providing just your mobile number and your email account. You plug in your bank account by choosing a bank account, HSBC, Chase, whatever your account is, and you provide us with the bank account details. With that, we're able to access your transaction history. And with your transaction history, every time you make a purchase, buying a coffee at Starbucks, going to dinner, every single time you make a purchase, we take the spare change from that purchase and we automatically use that money to purchase a collection of cryptocurrency assets. This gives you a proportional exposure into an asset class which will be growing over the next 50 years every single time you make a purchase. And we think that that's appropriate for a highly volatile asset class. We don't want people to be jumping out and spending $10,000 on something that they don't have any understanding of. But $1 to get exposure, we think that that's where it starts for everyday people. So what you just watched was an onboarding process that gets people started in about 48 seconds. And at the moment, the average onboarding process for cryptocurrency exchanges and platforms like that is about 3 days. So I don't know the sums of that, but that's a lot faster. So how does it actually work in a little bit more detail? So I'll run through it quickly. You go through the course of your day, you buy a coffee, $3.85. You buy some ramen at lunch, $11.64. It's a pretty specific price, I'm not sure why, but it is. You get a beer at the end of the day for $7.80, and then at the end of the night, you drive home and catch an Uber. Throughout the course of that day, we've rounded up 95 cents of transactional spare change. We take that spare change over the course of the day and the month, and we purchase cryptocurrency assets on your behalf. So if you were to do that day over and over again at the end of the year, you would have put $347 into our platform, and we would have taken that $347 and purchased a collection of cryptocurrency assets. Sounds like it's probably a good idea. Is it going to work? Well, the good news is that people have already been doing this for the share market, and they've experienced prodigious growth. So even though we've got traditional platforms like Interactive Brokers on the App Store that are very, very powerful trading apps, the ones that are experiencing growth in the share market are the likes of Acorns and Stash. And what they are is micro-investing platforms that invest people's spare change into the traditional share market. So we've basically taken that idea and we've applied it to a more exciting and higher growth asset class, which we believe is the cryptocurrency asset class. So you'll see here, alongside the success of Acorns and Stash is Coinbase. Coinbase was mentioned earlier on the panel, but it's one of the largest, if not the largest, in terms of transactional volume in the United States exchanges. Oh, 10 minutes, smash through that. And we think that we fit right in between the cryptocurrency exchanges and the auto investment platforms that we see in the share market. So we fit in right above the sort of Stash and Acorns, providing a simple, easy-to-use method for people to get exposure into cryptocurrencies. I'll smash through demand acquisition. We are running a private token sale, so you heard about people talking about whether or not you need a token. We are providing a token on our platform. We are a payment utility token, and the reason that we've provided a token is because we want to be blockchain completely through our technology stack. We're using our BAM token as a means of payment, and our platform automatically purchases the BAM tokens in order to provide payment for every service that we render on the platform. This is very similar to Binance, if you guys have heard about it, probably the largest exchange on earth at the moment. Binance have their own token to levy fees on the platform, and we are doing the same with Bamboo. One thing I'll touch on super quickly, mindful I'm running out of time, is on the back end, we're building something called Proof of Solvency that Pindar is going to be excited about. Proof of Solvency basically enables us to demonstrate that we have all of the assets that we claim to have under management for all of our customers at any given point in time, and that they exceed our outstanding liabilities. So we want to basically say, for people who are familiar with APRA compliance and banking compliance, we want to be doing that in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We think that that's exciting and transformative to the industry. We've partnered with awesome partners like DigitalX, Dave, who was speaking before. And if you want to find out more about our project, come see us at booth 30. Thanks, guys.